she stands, building bridges with trembling hands, a figure of hope. You could. So, welcome. And I'm excited to be sharing with you She Leads, She Scales, scaling your business without losing your soul. This is definitely a passion project for me, something that I've been talking about for a very long time. And what I want to be clear for you today is this is not a masterclass. This is what I would call a return to circle. Because if we think about it, ladies, um, women have been talking in circles, or people have been talking in circles for millennia, and they do it for good reason, because it's supportive. It's all these things that we want for women to feel safe and connected and uplifted in all that they do, so they can make good decisions, so they can grow and thrive in whatever they're doing. So return to circle for me is a reasonably new introduction to my narrative. And it's just a little bit of background for those of you who don't know. I recently completed my MBA, did a research project on women in business coaching and networking. And what came out of that research project was really interesting. But a big part of what I landed with was the need for women to be in circle, to be supported, to be surrounded by other amazing people in their lives that can give them guidance, stretch them, help them, lift them, challenge them, all those things. And so circle for me feels right for me. So that's why that narrative is now woven through everything that I talk about. So I have a question for you today, and you're welcome to pop things in the chat. I can see it. What if slowing down was the smartest move that you could do right now? Now, I know, Christine, you mentioned that you are in the process of pivoting and changing, and I'm sure that you probably feel that makes things feel a little bit manic in business. I understand what that is. I often have spoken about the importance of slowing down to speed up. And what do I mean by that? It means about taking a breath, step back, and really look at what you're doing. And how can you switch and tweak your business to speed up the process? And I'll get more into it later, but a really simple one is automation systems, those sort of things. What can you implement in your business that can take the heavy lifting off? But there's a number of other areas that don't require automation, but it could mean delegation, it could mean outsourcing, it could mean many things, right? And so, a lot of people ask me, well, that sounds a bit counterintuitive, slowing down to speed up. And I'll share with you a little bit later what I mean more precisely. I have a clear experience of what it is to grow at a ridiculous pace. And pace is always something I speak to women to say, let's slow it down a little bit. So what if the next level of your business didn't require more hustle, but more honesty? There's lots of people that I speak to in their business, and often I get the feeling from them, or the commentary is this really how it's meant to feel? Like business is jolly hard. I will never say that it's an easy thing. It can be a thrilling, exciting, wonderful, scary, but also very joyful, thrilling, uplifting. And what I truly believe is your business is your best wealth vehicle that you could possibly have, outside of stock, financial planning, all those things that you might implement in your business. But there is no doubt in my mind that business ownership is your biggest wealth opportunity. So let me just go back a bit and give, for those of you, because there's some wonderful ladies here that I haven't met before, so thank you and welcome. Let me share a little bit about who I am. So over the last 20 odd years, I've been an entrepreneur. I've launched about 17 companies. I built 1 to 30 million in revenue in 24 months. That's the pace I'm talking about. That was pretty crazy. We had 110 staff. From the outside, success looked great. Everything looked good. But inside, I can tell you, overwhelmed, I was reactive, I was exhausted, I was leading from pressure, I wasn't leading from purpose. That company I liquidated. And I had a choice when that time happened, when that came about. I can tell you the lessons. What was harder was growing a business in 24 months to 30 million than liquidating a business over 7 years, because that's how long it took, because that was a big company. It was an unlisted public company. But when it came to that point, I actually had a choice, and I was on the floor in a fetal position for a moment. That's normal, but I realized that I didn't need, I shouldn't stay there, because you can only go up. And so that's what I chose to do. So what I decided was I would build a new way. I would do business again, but I would do it differently. And I will say to you that this collapse, the liquidation, gave me so much clarity about what I would do again and what I won't. So I rebuilt from a place of intention, and I made a vow that I would teach and help and support women, not by doing more, but by leading differently. So you are here if maybe some of these things might resonate with you. Maybe there's some success on paper, but maybe we're stuck and maybe we can't go any further. Maybe you're craving space and not the grind. I think all of us would aspire for that. We are ready to lead, not just react. How often do we just react and go, oh, was that the right decision? Maybe you want clarity versus complexity. So I think one thing that I can give you confidence in is you're not alone. Gosh, so many of us feel the same thing, and I can say to you, you're in the right room. So I'm going to share with you three key shifts of what I know works for me and what I implemented to pick up and go again and grow and scale. Do I want to build another $30 million business again? I don't know what number that will be, but I will tell you that my goal, my measure of success will be when I am in a position to have created a foundation where I am scholarshiping 1,000 women, my entire program suite, every year. When I get to that point, I get goosebumps when I think about it, because when I get to that point, all the other measures and KPIs, goals, whatever you want to call them, have been met. So when I get to that point, and I don't know what that will take to get there, I don't know how long that's going to take, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to let the universe provide that to me when the time is right. I just know what I do every day, talking about this, sharing this, helping women in business, and navigating the busyness of messy in business. I will get there when the time is right. So I would ask you maybe one question that's not on the slides or anywhere here. Have you defined what success looks? Do you know what it looks like? Do you know what it feels like? I know a number of you ladies, and I know you do have this. Do you know what it tastes like? Do you know what it sounds like? Do you know what it feels like? Do you know when you arrive? Do you get goosebumps when you think about it? I do. I can hear the noise. I can taste it because I'm celebrating. I'm drinking champagne with women. I'm in a celebratory room. There's lots of people there. I can see it. I can visual. I can hear the noise. I can hear the laughter. I can hear the music. So I would ask you, do you have that? And that's something that I love. And I know, Wendy, you do. I saw your thumbs up. I so know you do. And I'm thrilled for you that you do. It's awesome. So key point number one, what I know is wherever you are today, hustle has got you here today so far. So let me share with you one of the greatest myths that we get sold often is if you just work harder. You know, I grew up, and a lot of the lessons that we have and the behaviors that we have in the back of our heads are things that we absorbed, we were told directly when we were young. And I know my dad often spoke about just work hard, Joanne, work really hard. Now, is that the right answer? I'm not so sure, because it can often hide a misalignment. We use speed to avoid strategy. Sometimes we're just caught on this. If you can picture a hamster wheel, and I so felt I was on that thing when I was building a $30 million business in 24 months. I felt like I couldn't get off it. And so I had a strategy, but I felt as though I was losing control. Absolutely losing control out of it. Something going a bit weird. Technology. Can everybody still see my slide before I keep going? Feels like that there might be.
Perhaps you have more than one device on.
Somebody does, yes. It's not me. But if we could make sure we're all on mute, that would just be amazing. Thank you. Thanks, Ghislaine. I can see that you've shared this. So one of the things that I want you to feel comfort in, whilst we might feel a little bit out of control or maybe heading that way, we get stuck in reacting instead of leading. We often can fall into that trap. There's no one is broken here. We've just maybe outgrown the grind. So one of the things I would ask you is, what would it feel like to rediscover your voice, your vision, your values in your business? So I know a number of you ladies, I know you personally, I know you have these things defined, but how often do you revisit them? How often have you reconnected to them? How often do you look at them? How often do you share it with people? I share it with everybody. It's on my website. I talk to people when I'm talking to them about in a sales environment, in a collaboration environment. I share them with my family, because these things, particularly the vision, where this business is going to go, it helps you take them on that ride. And there is no doubt that there was hustle in a $30 million business. So maybe what used to work doesn't work anymore. As I said, you're not broken, but maybe you've just outgrown the hustle. Please pop it in the chat if this is resonating with you. Maybe you felt like this before. Maybe you are now. Maybe you're feeling great, but maybe it's somewhere you've been before. Or maybe you're just using this as an opportunity of what to avoid and how to navigate this. No pun intended with the business name. So what would it feel like to rediscover your values and purpose and those sort of things? Thank you. Saw the thumbs up. That's awesome. So I know that when I often share this story, and I ask the question, how many of you who have close family and friends around you, and maybe they're looking at you, and I know my 94-year-old mother will often say to me, when are you going to stop working so hard, Joanne? When's this thing going to happen? Thinking that I'm looking to build a $30 million business again, because she saw that journey, that's for sure. And there's often a lot of commentary coming from family or friends who mean very well, but maybe it's not always received as well as we should receive it. What I know is that it's given with love, but what I also have an obligation to do is to share the vision. And so I often speak with women who have, my daughter's 28, so she's moved out, she's got her own life, all those sort of things. But I remember when she was young, and so I refer back to that, is that when she was young, there was always a hustle of getting her to school. I was busy, I was traveling, I was doing all these things. So I made a point of sharing with her what the vision was and where the business was going to go. But more for the point for her of what it will look like for her, what the impact will be for her when we get there. And so she enjoyed a lot of great travel. We did some amazing things. We had some fantastic protocols in our business that we put a 1% of our turnover into a fun account. And I took people to New Zealand, to China, to Hawaii, and 70 people to Alaska on a cruise. We did that to celebrate because the vision had been shared and they were all working incredibly hard. So it started off with a simple picnic. The next one was a simple dinner out. And I said to them, the 1% that I put in that bank account, we have to spend it every year. And it was done deliberately, for engagement of team, but two, the buy-in of the vision of where we were going with this business. You can't measure that. It was incredible. And so the memories that we created as a result of all the things that we did as a business was so powerful and such a wonderful journey. So I do say to you, how deeply have you looked at, what is your voice when it comes to your business? What are the values? What's the principles? And what vision? Where are you going with this business, and have you defined it? There are people who are changing and pivoting their business. So this is a perfect time to go revisit that. I revisit this every year. This is something that is deeply important to me because, as I said, I use it as a mechanism to connect with people. I have used it to employ people. This is where I'm going with this business. Is this something that resonates with you? Does it align with your values? And this can be also shared with those people you're outsourcing to, because you've got people who are representing you. So it's incredibly important to have these defined, but also know that they're not locked in. They're not set in cement. And one thing I would say, if you do have a team, how about you take an entire day, and you all revisit it together? Because when you craft the vision, the values, and the voice of your business with your team, it's so incredible to see, because you might think, oh, I feel that these vision statements are what resonates with the business. But when you've got people who are on the front line of your business and they're representing you, and then they get asked to share their thoughts about these key statements in your business, you will be delighted and surprised about what comes out of it. So I would encourage you to do that. I would love to hear in the chat, if you've got these things defined, do you revisit them? Is it something that's important to you in your business? Please do pop it in the chat. As I said, saw a thumbs up. That's awesome. Thank you. So key point number 2 is take the pause. This is where we slow down to speed up. So, pause, reconnect, and realign. I remember so many times during this crazy period of growing a business is running on not much sleep. I said yes to everything, and realizing that I hadn't had a clear thought in months and months and months. I just had movement. I was traveling everywhere. I did have a plan. I had a board. We had 110 staff. We had management layers and everything. But I didn't feel I could take a pause. I did not feel that I had permission to pause. And I only realized that after that business liquidated. And I wonder to myself sometimes, if I had that awareness of the importance of the pause, if that story might have been slightly different. Who knows? Things happen for a reason. So one of the things that I shifted for me this year was I always have got up at 5 a.m. in the morning, always. Got dogs, they want to be fed early, all that sort of stuff. Go for a walk, live on the Gold Coast. It's a lovely place to walk. And invariably, for years, I would be at the desk by 6:30. No doubt about it, always. And I'd be there till late. I have in the last 6 months stopped that, and I spend the first 2 hours on me. It's walking, it's meditation, it's journaling, it's exercise, it's all those things that support me as a person. Because what I know is, if I need to grow and scale my business, I have to work on me first. You cannot grow and scale a business if you are disconnected to why you're doing it, what success looks like. None of those things will play out for you. And it may not impact you immediately, but by golly, it will. I know I lost my connection to purpose very, very late in that business, and it was hard. I felt sick. I didn't want to go to work. I was always nauseous. I wasn't sleeping. Those things are hard. And I know I'm not alone in that. So I would ask you today, what are you doing just because you always have? What's one thing that you could shift today that doesn't fit anymore, that you don't need to do anymore? I would ask, have you considered that? Is there something in your business that you can pick up and shift, delegate, drop, doesn't need attention? Can you automate it? Can you delegate it to take the pressure off? I would ask you that. So what if your zone of genius wasn't lost, just buried under the busyness? We all get really busy. Like, you speak to people and say, how was your day? It was really busy. I always want to say, so what did you achieve today? What were one of the 3 things that you might have done today that speaks directly to your goals? Do you consider that? Do you write them down? Do you target small micro steps that I do every day? What are the 3 things that I can do that speaks to that 1,000 scholarship project that I have in my mind? I can't do it all today, but I can do little things each day. So what can you shift? What can you drop? What can energize you again to reconnect to your goals? Because what would it feel like if you could reignite that spark? Design a business that energizes you again. And I'm not saying that maybe your business doesn't. Maybe you've been there. Maybe you're fearful of it going there. I've been there. It's not fun. but there are definitely strategies to help you to move forward. I remember one of the things that I used to do to my team, I'd say to them, the door is always open. Please, I'm always here. I wanted to be that boss that was accessible and the person who was always available. I soon realized pretty quickly that was really poorly worded, that statement. I had a door on my office, and invariably I'd be working away in meetings or, working on the screen, and somebody would be knocking on the door, and you immediately lose your attention to the task at hand. You address the matter that comes through, and it could be for you, it could be a text, it could be a phone call, be an email, it could be someone knocking on your door, and you don't feel empowered enough to say no, or could you please, can we come back to this in 10 minutes? So I actually changed it and said, I had to take some action myself. I said, if you see the door is closed, I'm not available. And so if I was working on something that needed my attention, I would close the door. So when we became online, I also said to people, I only look at my emails at a certain point of the day, 2 points of the day, say 9 o'clock and 3 p.m. If it's urgent, pick up the phone. If you're calling me, I understand that it's important. If it's not important, send me an email and I'll look at it in the morning or in the afternoon. When you send an email and says it's urgent to you. It's not necessarily urgent for them. So you need to set the boundaries, the rules, the code of conduct, whatever word you want to put to it, so that you can actually say no or not yet. So that your team, as I said, whether it's your actual team, whether it's outsourcers, whether it's people you collaborate with, set the boundaries. And you know what? When you set your values and all those beautiful statements I spoke about before, you can use it as the way that you interact with people. So if their interaction doesn't align with the values, you have the opportunity now to sit it in front of them and say, help me to understand, how does that particular behavior align with our values that we have all agreed to in our business? So what would change if your next step felt like a full body yes? If you felt absolutely connected to what you are doing and you were energized about your business? I'm going to show you my Lead Her Lens diagnostic tool that I created to rebuild my business. So this is a tool that you'll get in the workbook. The workbook will get sent to you this afternoon when the recording's uploaded into the email, and you will get this. So you'll be able to work through this at your own pace. So the Lead Her Lens, the release, the refocus, the realign, the rise. So I'm going to go through each one individually. So I know the screen might look a bit small for those of you on a mobile phone. So the release lens, you need to consider, what are the things you need to shed? This is where we pause to simplify, to unhook the outdated, the inherited, or the expected. So what's the one thing you're carrying that's keeping you small or stuck? So maybe what it could be, clients that drain your energy. There's people out there, we've got clients who are like that. Roles you've outgrown, offers that don't excite you anymore, decisions made from fear, not truth. So they're just some ideas, some thought bubbles for you, so that just some ideas of what it might look like to remove things from your obligation, remove things from what you're doing every day that's keeping you small or stuck. I'd love to hear. Pop it in the chat if you could. And you're welcome anytime, ladies. If you want to unmute yourself and make a comment, speak up, please do. I have no issue with that whatsoever. It keeps the conversation flowing. Let me just look at, great. I expected that from you, Wendy, but you do regularly review your statements. I knew you would. Number 2, where is your inner energy leaking or flowing? So this is where we refocus. This lens helps you stop reacting and start choosing. It cuts through the noise, comparison, and scattered effort. So what are you giving energy to that's truly not moving you forward? What could they look like? Doing too much in your business, trying to do all the things at once, building things out of obligation. Who multitasks? I do feel it's a bit of a fallacy, right? For me, comparison. Thank you. For me, we've all got a massive to-do list, right? We've all got one. So one of the things that I do to manage my time, I use a Mac, and there's this beautiful little app you can put on it. You can set a timer. So when I've got tasks to do, I set a time. and I get as much done as I can in that 30 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever that time frame that I've put myself to, and then I move on to the next one. I don't sit on and go, oh, just 5 more minutes. That doesn't serve me, because I have other priorities that I need to give it my attention to. But it absolutely keeps my energy going for me throughout the day, because I know I'm getting a little piece of all these big tasks done each day. It really helps for me. The next lens is the realign. What does success look like now, not when you started? So we all started a business with an idea of what the business success would look like, but have you refocused it? Have you recrafted it? Like mine has shifted quite a lot over the time, and I've landed with 1,000 ladies in a foundation where I'm scholarshiping everything that I do and that's from her transformation to the Elevate Consulting of consultancy work to an MBA. The entire suite, 1,000 women for a product offering that sits at around 35 grand each, all up for all three. So that's a lot of money, right? So I know what I can feel it, I can taste it, I can hear it, and I don't not talk about it. I share it with people because I want them to come on the journey with me. So if some of the logistical things that you might not have considered, and let's get really narrow here. One of the items I've got here is, I was speaking to a lady the other day in the US about working out what her product should cost, what she should charge for her photography services that she offers. And I've got a tool, we went through the pricing model for her. And I said to her, a lot of people in business don't consider and now look closely, let me use, so I get my tongue around, look closely at what your pricing model is. Do you take into account the cost of your experience, the cost of your operating costs? Like, there's things in our business that we incur, whether we have one customer or unlimited customers. It's our rent, it's our mortgages, it's our phones, it's our internet, it's all these things. And how many of you grab a piece of that and put it into the pricing model of your services, product offer that you have, to understand if you are creating the profit that you need for your business to remain viable? How often do you do quotes without a lot of thought to that? Because the last thing you want is, I just want a great contract. It's amazing. I'm going to earn this extra XYZ money. Then you look at your bank account at the end of the year or the end of the financial year, the quarter, the month, the week, and go, where'd it go? Because all these lovely subscriptions are coming out. All this stuff is coming out, and we haven't defined that. So, when you look at what success needs to look like, you need to look at the micro areas as well in your business to understand that, oh, wow, I'm quoting on something that's not actually going to be profitable for me. So some of these things, it could be reworking timelines to honor your energy. As I said, I do that. I've completely shifted what I do first thing in the morning. And very interestingly, I had this conversation with Cheryl Gray from Women's Network Australia the other day, and I shared that, and she said, so how do you now get everything done in a shorter time frame during the day? And I went, well, you know what? I still get it done. I use my timer, and my focus is much narrower. I'm not getting distracted with, I'll just go pet the dogs. I'll just put the washing out. I'll just put the meal on for tea tonight. I still do those things, but I do it as I'm going to go and get my lunch, or I get things done while I'm grabbing a coffee. I don't get up and walk away because I'm distracted. My energy is so much better than it ever was because I'm focusing on me at the beginning of the day. You might choose to do it at the end of the day. At the end of the day is a journaling piece, 3 areas that I write down on. What is the upside of abundance for me? What does that look like? What is the downside of abundance for me? And what am I grateful for today? 3 key things that keep me fired up every single day. Every single day. Because one of the things that has been of concern for me for a while, but is no longer, I had a $30 million business. What if I break it again? What if I lose it again? I lost my house, I lost my cars, I lost everything. And unconsciously, I have had that thought, no longer. What if I stuff it up again? And is that holding me back? And so this inner work for me has been so important, and why we include inner work in the Her Transformation program, and why it's a critical piece for us. Item 4, the Rise lens. What's one courageous move your future self would make? So think ahead. This is your integration lens, the part where clarity becomes motion. So think about some things logistically. What might that look like? Set boundaries. My door is always open. Great example, right? Actually, no, I'm only going to answer emails in the morning or the afternoon. If it's urgent, send me a text, send me an email, send me a phone call. Pick up the phone and call me. Have you thought about raising your rates? What would it look like if you charged more for your services and offerings? Would you hire differently? Would you hire differently if you had defined your vision, your values, and where you're going to take your business, and you hire based on those things? What would that look like? Gayleen has an amazing tool, who's here with us, a contribution compass. She has an amazing tool which all her transformation clients get access to. It helps you to identify where you are in flow and where you are not. And so what this tool really made it clear for me was, well, there's some great things that I do. Give me a spreadsheet. I'm a happy girl. Ask me to proofread. It hurts my brain, really hurts my brain. So maybe if I'm going to hire somebody, I will hire somebody who's got that capability, or that was in flow when they're in that particular role. This is something that, you know, her profiling tool is amazing, and do reach out to her. But it is included in the Her Transformation program, deliberately so, because we need to know, where are you in flow? Where are things happening easily for you, and you actually lose time? As I said, give me a good spreadsheet, ask me to put a slide deck together, ask me to go and dive into Canva for a while, and I will lose hours. That's where you're in flow, really, really simply. And the last point I want to make to this courageous move, saying no to something big or saying yes to something big. I would suggest to you that, what could that be for you? What would that look like? So these 3 areas are for you to reflect, because when you reflect on these things, and the workbook you get will give you some space and all the pointers that I've been speaking about, this is where you learn more about you. This is where you learn more about where this business is going, and helps you to do the tweaking and the adjusting. So when you integrate the Lead Her lens, you see a shift. I noticed it. From hustling to holding space, from chaos to clarity, from deliverables, you know, just it's like a manufacturing plant just pumping it out, to visionary decisions. They're big words, but I can say to you that I use these 4 elements for me, and I tap back into them regularly, because it helps me to refocus. It's not something you set and forget. It's something you come back and revisit every now and then. Oh, it feels a bit off at the moment. Let me go revisit that. So you'll have a workbook that lends to that. The third point, key element. So we've just done the 2. Third, lead as a visionary CEO. So if you gave yourself permission to be that person, what would you let go of first? What decision would your future CEO self make without apology? And what would it take for you to lead as the woman that you're becoming? So I'm really curious, what decision would your future CEO make without apology? I'm really curious as to what that would be. And if you feel comfortable enough to put it on the chat, that would be great. Because this is where the shift happens for you as a leader, as a CEO, as a builder of business. This thing about, I'm not ready yet, it's not perfect, it's not 100% yet. What if you gave yourself permission just to be ready? Not just ready, but brave. Because you know what? Nothing will be perfect. You know, perfect or job done is like 80%, because it's always changing and shifting. Yeah, let's talk about branding. This Navigate brand, I reckon this is the 10th iteration in 8 years. It just keeps shifting and changing, right? Because it has an evolution, it changes, it shifts, it speaks more deeply to me. And very interestingly, that logo that you see there was developed by an amazing brand company out of Women's Network early this year. And I looked at it and I went, oh my gosh, That is an iteration, and she's never seen the original logo from 8 years ago, and it had the infinity symbol in it. I went, why did I lose that? That infinity symbol on my logo means that, you know, the possibilities are infinite. That's why we had it in the beginning. So what would change in your business if you stopped operating and started leading? This is where leading and stepping up and being brave. And I want to be really clear for you here. Leading is not just leading for your team, the clients, your suppliers. How do you lead self? Start with leading self. It's so important. So lead with wholeness. What if your strategy reflected who you are, not just what you sell? And it's not about getting more complicated. It's about getting calm, clear, and soul aligned. And I will say to you, as I've developed this program that my key program, Her Transformation, it is not something that it's got a lot of complexity to it, but it's really clear for me what the outcome is, what impact it makes, and how it will change people's lives. So I know that inside my soul, and for a bunch of people, it's completely relevant to them and it aligns with them. Others, they go, yeah, it's not for me yet. And that's okay. I'm cool with that because we can't serve everybody. I totally get that. So what if I said your next level wasn't about figuring it all out? It's about choosing bravery over burnout. And what if we were this little gal? How cool would that be? If we were like that every single day, that'd be pretty cool. She looks confident. She's got it. She's nailing it. She's on top of it. So just to share with you, all the things I've spoken about all connect to the Her Transformation Circle. This is what this program is about. Precisely what it's about. Reconnecting to self, reignite the possibility, embody the woman you're becoming, and integrate that into your whole business. It's a 6-month journey. I'm not here to sell it. I'm here to say, if this interests you, it is your opportunity to have a call with me. And it's just for us to understand, is this something that resonates, that clicks with you, that you go, actually, I'm curious. I'd like to know a really little bit about it. I'd love for you to make that call. I am have got a pretty fabulous offer at the moment. There's a $3,000 partial scholarship towards this entire 6-month program that's available to you. So this call is literally just to have a conversation with me. Does it resonate? Is this something that you can be accepted into this program? Because I will say this to you, ladies. To be accepted into the Her Transformation program, we need to have the call, because let me share with you, it's a two-way street here. There's time, money, effort to be expended on both sides. And I don't want anybody diving into this program if it's not for you yet, or if it's just not for you. I don't want that for you. I would rather we have a conversation where actually I know you need to go and speak to Gayleen. I know you need to go and speak to Wendy. I need you to go and speak to Kathy. And then go do that work and then come back. I'm perfectly okay with that because I can't serve everybody. But I do know what I have is it is here for you to lead your business to where it needs to be. So if something's holding you back from applying, let's just have a call, because this is about having clarity about where your business is today, where are you with your business today, and is this something that's going to serve you? Is it going to bring you value? Totally up to you. So what happens next, if you grab that QR code, and it will be in your workbook, so if you want to grab it, that's cool. It's literally a call with me. If we feel that it seems aligned, I then send you an activation questionnaire, and it helps me to get a sense of where your business is at. And that is all, as they said. So I'll leave that there for a moment for you. And I very much can see that I am nearly bang on with 45 minutes. So, ladies, I appreciate you taking the time to listen. I appreciate you giving me your space. And if you have any questions, please do ask. Yes, please. Go ahead, Gayleen. Can I unmute you? Do I have to do that? Maybe I do. Let me go to participants. Let me unmute you. Where are you, Gayleen? Yes, there you're unmuted. Now you're unmuted. You're good to go.
So I've known Joanne for a number of years, and also being part of her transformation program. But this is a whole lot of new content, Joanne, that I haven't seen before. And it's super exciting because it's like you've pruned the entire garden and just got right down to the stuff that's really going to make the difference. So I'm really, really grateful that
Thank you.
that you've put this together, because I think it will make a huge difference for a lot of women.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's been spending a lot of time honing it, and I think that's something as business owners we need to do that, right? Whatever our service, our offer, our product, it's, as I said, it's never perfect. 80% is perfect, and so you've got to go back to revisit it. And these changes have come about because of the work I've done on me, and so that's why, when I created the Her Transformation Program, what I understood was that the only way that you can scale and grow a business is if you get internal right first. You can't grow and scale if you're not ready internally, if you can't handle the pressure. I can see lots of nods here. I know, Wendy, you are absolutely on top of that. So resonates with you. I know it does. So thank you, Gayleen. I really appreciate it. So maybe really quickly, I'll share with you what you do, who are the mentors in this program. So Gayleen, amazing contribution compass, profiling tool. I've got an energy sound healer, a lady out of England who sings with her voice, not bowls, and she clears the limiting beliefs, she clears the fear. So you get 2 unique sound healings throughout the programs. You can go back and revisit anytime. You've got them for life. You get access to this online program for life. I don't turn it off. We have a beautiful gal who does a fashion styling session with you. I get it. 15 years ago, I had mine done. I was starting to speak in front of people. I had a team, and I needed to know that the colors, the style, all that suited my body shape, but also gave me that confidence, right? And then we step it up to another beautiful girlfriend, Simone, who does public speaking. So we're gone are the days we stand on a physical stage and we are public speaking. It's every day on this screen, right? Every day on the phone, on this thing. And so Simone walks you through how to speak confidently. So stepping up that game. We then have another lady who talks about unconscious bias, something that we're all exposed to. So all through that 6-month program, fortnightly mentoring with me, one-on-ones with me, and you get to see all these ladies to support and guide you and help you through the Her Transformation Program. So I thank you for spending time with me today. If you have any comment, anything that you need help with, please let me know. Christine would be lovely to connect with you. We'll go find each other on social media and catch up. Would love to do that. And all these other ladies who I know and are part of my circle, thank you so very much.
I just want to say I love this. This is awesome. I love what you put together.
Oh,
I do as a spiritual mentor. So I think you've developed a really well-rounded program, and we are stronger together than we are apart. So I love the fact that you brought in a community.